Imagine that you have an enemy who is seeking your life, who out to destroy you. Their means are not good towards you. Every opportunity they get, they try to destroy you, whether malign you, whether even try to hurt you physically. How would you react when you have the opportunity now to take them down? Right there, they're in your hands, whether verbally, whether you caught them in something that you can destroy their entire life, or whether you have the opportunity, the first opportunity to strike the first blow to destroy them. Because if you let them live, they are going to destroy you. What would you do? Not only that, the situation causes you to be depressed to the point that you feel like that you're being withdrawn in a dark cave. And this opportunity to get out while you're in that situation was there to end it by destroying that person. What would you do? Good morning, saints, and welcome to the Dixon's Devotions with Pastor Dixon. Today we are going to be looking at Psalm chapter 57. Psalm chapter 57. Psalm chapter 57 is one of those psalms that is ascribed to David, and we are going to look at the background and the backdrop of this psalm before we go into the text. But before we do so, if you haven't subscribed or like our YouTube channel, please remember to go subscribe and like and leave a comment so that we can get feedback from you and also improve our YouTube channel. And remember to tell a friend. Now let's get back into the word. Now Psalm 57 is one of those psalms that was written when David was running from Saul from cave to cave. Whether it was the cave of Adullam or the cave of En-Gedi, but David was running from Saul and he went from cave to cave. Now when we look at the introduction of the psalm, it says, to the chief musician Altasheth Michcom of David when he fled from Saul in the cave. So when we look at this, we are going to be looking at what this means. As I said, this psalm was ascribed to David, and in the Hebrew it said Al-Tashet, rendering in the Mandarin. Now also in the Greek it is Mendi Aphosaurus, which also means, in both Hebrew and in both Greek, it means do not destroy. Do not destroy. And by the way, this is the title of the psalm, do not destroy. And why do not destroy? You see, David was running from cave to cave from Saul. And remember, at many times David had the opportunity to destroy or to kill Saul. And David did not do it. And remember, this term do not destroy can also be, the first rendering was in Deuteronomy chapter 9:26, when David was rehearsing all that took place in the wilderness when the children of Israel was right there at the brink of the Jordan ready to cross. And he mentioned the time when God was about to destroy Israel, wipe them out, and Moses said, Lord, do not destroy them, do not destroy your people. And also it's the same rendering in 1 Samuel 26:9, when David had the opportunity to kill Saul, and David said to his men, it was I think it was Hishai at that time, no, do not destroy him, do not put your hands on him. So this is where the term do not destroy come from. And as we see, it's not only just David had the opportunity to destroy Saul, but he refrained from doing it. Do not destroy, leave it alone, let God do that. Don't put that in our hands. Don't let Saul's blood be on our shoulder. Let God do that. Now Saul run from cave to cave, and we can see it where Saul, this psalm is probably or possibly into areas at the cave of Adullam. You remember after David run from Gath, from after being in by Achish, he went down to Adullam, and his brothers, who were, this is his family members, they were harassed by Saul, because they were in Saul's army at the time, and they know that they were David relative brothers, and this is David blood brothers, and the Bible said they were harassed by Saul to the point of frustration. So they run, and they went and they joined David there, and they met David there, and all of them was in the cave right there of Adullam. And in that cave they had the opportunity again to destroy Saul when David cut off his piece of his coat, and David tell them don't destroy him. And also in the cave there in Gedi, when David went down to En-Gedi, he was hiding in those caves there in Gedi. When the Zophite told Saul where David was, David used to go hide from cave to cave and cave to cave. And again in chapter 26 of 1 Samuel, when David was down there again in Gedi, and Saul was out there camping, and all his soldiers are running, and David and Hushai again went inside there and had the opportunity to kill Saul, and David said no, do not destroy him. So this is the backdrop of the psalm. But not also that, remember it's a miktam, and remember the last psalm will tell you what the word miktam means. It could be writing or it could be gold. I always said writing in gold. Listen, this is good writing in gold, set in gold, that we need to listen to and get some good wisdom and advice from. Now with that said, let's look at the outline of the psalm. You could see David's sincere prayer. David's sincere prayer for God to protect him. And David's description of the character of the enemy. And also that David wanted God in all of this to be exalted and to be honored. And next also we're going to see how David sees the future destruction of the enemy. And the last part of this outline is exalting of God and the happiness of exalting God during our trials. Now let's get into the psalm. Now when we look at this psalm, Psalms chapter 57, as I said, this psalm recounts when David was running from Saul, and he is in one cave to the next. Now remember also, a lot of time when someone is in a cave, it also picture depression. You withdrawn in a cave. And remember in one of those instances when David was, I think was in Adullam, the cave of Adullam, when his brother came, they were so beaten down. And also David, the Bible said they were in the deep recesses of the cave. And it's also a picture of depression. Situation like this can cause you to be depressed. When someone tries to destroy you, you can feel so depressed. And at that time, when you have the opportunity to destroy that person, you can do so, and your flesh determined to do so. But David held back, and he held back his men, because they too were depressed and harassed by Saul when you look at it. And they had the opportunity, and David said, no, don't do it. Now, here is David earnest, sincere plea in verse 1. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Protect me from those who rise up against me. So you see, David was in this cave. He running from cave to cave, running from cave to cave from Saul. And in this moment he said, deliver me from my enemies, oh my God. Protect me from those who rise up against me. Now here it is. David is saying, Lord, you do it. I am not going to take it in my hands. And many times David was backed in. And sometimes also from a spiritual level, David feel like he was so depressed with John in a cave because of this situation. And he said, deliver me from those who work evil and save me from bloodthirsty men. So Saul was like a bloodthirsty man, a man who tried to destroy David and had the authority because he was king and the ability. And David said, Lord, deliver me. Verse 3, for behold, this is how he destroyed the characteristic and the action of the enemy. For behold, they lie in wait for my life. Fierce men stir up strife against me. For no transgression of sin of mine, O Lord. For no fault of mine, they run and make ready. So right here we see David in verse 3 and verse 4 describing the characteristics and the actions of the enemy. They lie in wait for my life. Fierce men stir up strife against me. And for no reason. What have I done? Sometimes it's just pure jealousy. When people are jealous of you, this is what they do. They get the jealousy is an evil monster. They get this fierceness for no reason. For no transgression of sin of mine, O Lord, they want to kill me. For no fault of mine, they run and make ready. Because David killed Goliath and the people and the women say, oh, Saul killed his 1,000 and David killed his 10,000. Saul became jealous of David and wanted to kill him. So now David here from verse 4, go right down. He said, look, they want to destroy me for no fault of mine. And he said, awake, come to meet me and see. And then in verse 5, David started to describe that God is powerful and he's seeking God to stand for him. You, Lord God of hosts, are God of Israel. Rouse yourself to punish all the nation. Spare none of those who treacherously plot evil. So David is saying, Lord God arose not only to destroy the nations, to destroy Israel. Here, at that time too, remember when David was going from cave to cave, Israel was fighting against the Philistines and other nations. And David was doing himself what you call little covert attacks on these nations and helping Saul and Israel, and they didn't realize what David was doing with his little army, with his little bandits. And he said, Lord, destroy those nations who want to destroy Israel. And he said, spare none of those who treacherously plot evil, people who want to plot evil, even Saul and all these people, spare them not. And in really, this is the first section, you see Sailor right there. Now, and David now gone into say, look, his emotions, the expression is his emotion. Each evening, they came back howling like dogs and prowling about the city. There they are, bellowing with their mouths, with swords in their lips, for who they think will hear us. So the thing about it, David is saying, look at these men who are trying to destroy me. All these people, they're barking like dogs. They're saying all kind of bad things against me. They're hollering in the city. You know what I mean? Almost like dogs coming to hunt him down. They're barking and they're hollering like dogs, prowling about the city, looking for David. There they are, bowling in their mouth, with swords in their lips, swords ready to kill. For who they think will hear us? Who they think will hear us? And they go out and they're trying to look. Who they think will hear us? Who they think will hear David during this time? And they're looking and they're prowling in the city. Everybody to get at David. Verse 8. But you, O Lord, laugh at them. You hold all the nation in derision. All the nation, you hold them in derision. All those who do evil, you laugh at them. O my strength, I will watch for you. For you, O God, are my fortress. David said, I will put my strength in God. I will watch for God. It's God I'm looking out for, because God have my back. He is my strength and He is my fortress. My God is steadfast love will meet me. My God in His steadfast love will meet me. God love will meet me. God will let me look in triumph on my enemies. God will make me look and triumph on my enemies. I will see the day when my enemies will fall, but not at my hand, but by God's hand. Not at my hand, nor my men's hand. God is the one who is going to do that. In verse 11, kill them not, lest my people forget. Make them totter by your power and bring them down. And listen what David said. Yes, God, I want to destroy them, but don't kill them. Kill them not, lest my people forget. Remember, David was still, as much as David was running from Saul, David still respected Saul, because if Saul is dead, what the people going to remember? All that the deed that he did at first. Make them totter, just make them totter by your power and bring them down, but don't kill them, so that the people won't forget the history of Saul and all how God used him to destroy the other nation. O Lord, our shield, for the sins of their mouth, the words of their lips, let them be trapped in their pride. Lord, let their words, the things that they say against me, all the bad things that they want to say against me, trap them in their own words. You know, when people try to bring up things against you, at the end of the day, their own words trap them. Trap them in their own words, in their own speak, in their own lips. They're going around howling in the city like dogs, searching out people to find out where I am, to find out people who is on my side, and like barking dogs, you know, ready to kill. Chop them in their own words, the things that they say against me to make me look bad. For the cursing and lies that they utter, consume them in wrath. Consume them till they are no more, that they may know that God rules over Jacob to the ends of the earth. So he said, Lord, chop them, you know, Lord, show them, destroy them. But destroy them not physically, but spiritually. Expose them, that's what it means. Each evening they came back howling like dogs. David is in the cave hiding. Each evening they came back howling like dogs and prowling about the city. They wander about for food and growl if they do not get their fill. In other words, they're going out, searching in anger like bad dogs. They want blood. But I will sing of your strength. I will sing aloud of your steadfast love in the morning. Even David in the night, you know, it seemed the place dark in the night, you know, when that depression comes on you and you can hear the howling and you feel so unsecured. He said, but morning is going to come and I will sing of the steadfast love. And a lot of time when you're in depression, you feel like you're in a dark cave. Thomas Kempen said, the dark night of the soul. You're in a cave, you're in a cave. How you get out of that? Sing of the steadfast love. Think about the goodness of God, and this is how you're going to get out. But I will sing of your strength. I will sing aloud of your steadfast love in the morning. For you have been to me a fortress, a refuge in the day of my distress. You see, that's the key of getting out of those depression. When you feel like people are things, circumstances against you to bring you down, think of God. He is your fortress. He is your refuge in the day of distress. Oh, my strength, I will sing praise to you. For you, O God, are my fortress, the God who shows me steadfast love. So in all of these things, David was in the cave, running from Saul, and many times Saul was right there to be destroyed, and David let him go. And all the time they're going around against David to destroy David. David was in a cave, running from cave to cave. He was not a free man. He couldn't see light. He couldn't see day. Otherwise, people will rat out on him. But David said, God is his fortress. During all the time when David was in his cave, God was right there, protecting him. Protecting him from the very enemy. David had the opportunity to kill Saul, but he refrained. That's why it said, do not destroy. Let God handle that. And himself to that he tell God, he beg God, don't destroy Saul. But bring him down, but don't destroy him. You look at that. Expose, but don't destroy. And look at the heart of David. Can we say that, saints, when we're going through our situation and people against us to destroy us, sometimes we feel like we just want to wipe them out. But our duty is to pray for them, leave it into the hands of God, and the day will come when God is going to expose them. And sometimes you feel depressed, you're in cave, like you're running from one cave to the next. You can't see the light, you're in the dark side of the cave. When they was in Engedi, the Bible said, and they were in the deep recesses of the cave. But how you get out? Put your trust in God. Think of the goodness and his loving kindness, and he will build a fortress. He is your strength. Trust God no matter what the situation, and what God, look at God and watch his operation. In his time, he is going to take care of the problem. Saints, have a wonderful day, and may the Lord's blessings be with you.